Hey, beautiful souls. I hope that you're all doing really, really well today, or at least okay. Welcome or welcome back to my channel. Today's pick a card reading we're going to be doing is we're going to be finding out what it is that they cannot tell you. I know a lot of you are going to be watching this because it's maybe about a love connection or a love interest or something like that. And it generally is, these readings are. But this can apply to someone that's a friend of yours or a family member as well. I'm going to read it as generally as I possibly can, though, so you'll need to apply the messages as they resonate to you and your situation, okay? That's really, really important. I am about to show you 3 different cards for you to choose which is going to be your reading. Please remember, it's really, really important that time is an illusion and energy is fluid. So this message is in current energy, which can change very quickly or not in accordance to your energy. And of course, others have their own free will as well. So yes, we're going to be looking at whatever the person you have on your mind can't say to you or is having troubles communicating to you, but what they wish they could kind of really say to you. So we don't know what's going to come out, okay? So just make sure that if you're feeling a little bit kind of anxious at the moment or a little bit, you could be potentially triggered, just ensure that you watch this with care, and that maybe if you are feeling a little bit anxious, it might not be the best time to be watching these types of tarot readings. But yeah, just wanted to give that preface. You guys probably already know that anyway. Without any further ado, lovely souls, let's get into the reading. I'm about to pause the video so I can show you your 3 cards to choose from. Hello, so here we are with the 3 piles for what it is that this person can't tell you at the moment. Maybe they'll be able to tell you later, I don't know. So pile 1 we have courage, pile 2 we have fear, and pile 3 we have embrace. If you need some more time to decide or discover which is going to be your pile for your reading, I will ask you to pause the video because I am about to start the readings. Hello, pile 1, or for those of you who chose courage, this is your reading. This reading, as we said at the intro, is to find out about whoever it is on your mind, what it is that they can't tell you at the moment. Whether they ever tell you or not is another story, but we are delving into their energy to find out what it is that they can't tell you, because it might, kind of help you with this process or make a decision or whatever it is that you need to do with this, okay? So I would love to hear your feedback and comments below. Of course, if you feel compelled to or motivated to, I would love to hear your situation and how this kind of feels for you. And you can also help to support me and my channel by subscribing, giving the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. And also, if you would like to get a personal reading with me, you can find all the details in my description box below. Let's get into this reading. I know that you're probably very anxious to find out what it says. It is a very beautiful, powerful and positive reading. Okay, so courage, to me, this card actually represents what their higher self is not able to say to you. So this person is either building up the courage to share this with you, or this person just doesn't have the courage at the moment. Just to let you know that they're kind of gathering the courage to face truth, both within themselves and between you. Their higher self wants you to know that they're not kind of as confident, decisive, or as articulate as they kind of are making out to be. they're wrestling with a lot of fears. Pride and vulnerability is what I'm getting here too. So it's a big thing for all of us, right? At times. So getting into the reading. 5 of Swords and 2 of Wands. This is really saying that this person knows that they've kind of messed up, right? Your person's higher self admits that they've kind of acted from a place of ego here with the 5 of Swords. Defensiveness or fear, or a combination of all those things. And this could have created conflict, miscommunication, or choices that they made that have hurt you, even if they didn't really mean it to, right? So they kind of want to say that they're aware that they created tension between you, and I know I might have made some selfish choices, or I wasn't ready to face my own flaws, but I'm thinking deeply about my future, and you're part of it. So and they want to kind of be able to do this without making things worse. And the 2 of Wands reveals that they're planning, reflecting, and they're really thinking strategically, but they haven't acted out of fear yet. Or maybe they've started to, but this is what's going on in the background. 4 of Wands and Strength. Beautiful cards. We have 3 major arcanas in this reading, so lots of karmic lessons for this person to deal with, to challenge themselves with, and hopefully grow through, so that they're not such a massive thing for them anymore. So beneath all their fears, your person really feels kind of this warmth and this joy, and feels really kind of at home with you. And this is really, the 4 of Wands is a bit of a soulmate style card, okay? And there's this desire for harmony, reunion, or just kind of real stability. And when we're pairing it here with Strength, this really shows 2 things. And the first thing I'm getting here is that they feel a really powerful bond with you, deeper than they can explain, and it takes everything in them to remain composed and hold back, especially with courage and strength here. So their higher self is really saying, you bring me peace, you bring me joy, you feel like home, I want to reconnect, I want things to be stable and good between us. I'm also getting, I'm trying to heal the parts of myself that pull away when something good shows up. So their courage is growing slowly but definitely. Your last cards before we get to your cards of advice, we have the Wheel of Fortune and the Sun. So this is one of the most kind of positive combinations you can get in tarot from my perspective. They want a fresh start, and they want to turn things around, and they see potential for happiness with you, like real happiness. You bring a lot of joy into this person's life, and they're really waking up to what this connection truly means, I feel. The Wheel of Fortune kind of shows divine timing and big changes, things shifting in the background. This is meant to be, this is karmic, and there's big lessons for both you and them, I believe in this. And the Sun is really showing clarity, positivity, and fully seeing your value is what I'm getting here as well. There's a lot of nostalgia, a nostalgic energy in these cards. I feel like this is a pretty deep connection, no matter what type of connection this is. You may have known this person before, or you've been with them for a while, maybe grown up with them, or they're just, you kind of, if not if that doesn't apply to you, I kind of feel like you guys have probably known each other before in past lives. There's almost like this purity to your connection as well, you know, and I feel like there's a lot of inner child healing going on here, and I feel like this is really how they see you. I mean, this is a child on a horse, but, you know, that's your inner child that they see, and they see so much beauty, you know, and this is your inner child, I believe this card is depicting, and they want to meet you there. What a gorgeous reading. Let me get your words of advice as well from your higher self about this connection. So we have hope. I'm just really getting here that there is still hope in this connection. I think maybe at times it feels a little bit rocky and uncomfortable. But again, here we have the image of the sun. So to me, this is kind of like a standby card. Like, this is happening. It's safe to have hope. Things are progressing as they should be, and it might feel like it's taking a long time for this to progress, or for this to be said or felt or shared. But there is hope with this. The Ace of Pentacles, this is kind of represents to me as well the sun again, but this is really about stability, and there is the opportunity here, of course, if you choose to, for this to have a really nice, fresh, stable start. And I feel like this is kind of what this person wants to offer you as well. They want to offer you a really grounded new beginning. There's a lot of nature in here as well, so I don't know whether they'll be taking you out into nature, whether you're moving into nature, whether spending time in nature would be nourishing and grounding for both of you. But this is a beautiful offer. Quite magical too. You've got the pentacle there. So this is really lovely. This is a solid offer. This is a solid thing that's happening here. And we've got forgiveness as well. So this is really important in being able to kind of forgive others and yourself for anything that's happened in this connection. I always have to say, and I hope I don't have to keep saying this in my readings, but I don't condone like really unhealthy, toxic relationships where there's abuse. I don't feel this in here though. I think there's been some maybe pretty heavy conflict, or conflict that hasn't been great. But yeah, so whether you want to reconcile with this person or not, or forgive them, or whatever's happened, holding compassion and kind of releasing resentment opens your path forward, which is the most important. And it frees you, not just them. So you really, the advice here from your higher self is not to wait passively, but to remain open, grounded, and, you know, aligned with what you deserve as well, because this is what you deserve. You deserve happiness. You deserve all the good things. So pile one, I really hope you have enjoyed this reading. I hope it's given you some hope, maybe some clarity, some insight, and whatever it is that you've needed to get out of it. I hope you enjoyed watching this as much as I did doing it for you, and lots of love and light, and I'll see you at my next reading. Bye. Okay, hello pile 2, or for those of you who chose fear, this is your reading. This feels like a pretty heavy reading. This card represents a message from their higher self to you. I mean, there's all messages here from their higher self to you, but this is the main one. The person on your mind is operating from a place of really deep fear. A fear of loss, a fear of vulnerability, a fear of repeating past mistakes. Their higher self is really trying to speak to you through the noise of their anxieties, which they're currently experiencing. And these messages are going to kind of offer you the truth that they can't express in the 3D or the material world. So let's get into those messages. The World and the Ten of Swords. Your person feels a painful ending, okay? And the World represents closure here. So, and this is a major arcana. So there's a major cycle completing here that has been very stressful for this person. And probably you as well. They might be fearful that things are over. They might fear that they've ruined things. And this person really feels like they've hit rock bottom because they don't know how to kind of fix this situation at the moment. And you've got to remember that this is the stuff they can't tell you. So on the surface, they might look like they may appear, and they could be, taking steps to move forward and to become stronger or to do the work that they need to do. You've got to remember this is the stuff they cannot tell you, and they're too afraid to tell you, okay? So it can be very different to what they're actually doing, if that makes sense. This is their fears that they're sharing with you. So, which of course can bleed out into and influence their behaviors and their actions, okay, unless they're incredibly conscious and aware all the time, which ideally we all are. But it can be very challenging for a lot of us to do, okay, especially when we're going through major cycles and changes, especially this year of the snake. It's been pretty full on for most of us, okay, and the collective as a whole. So even if this connection is still going and it's not over, their fear of finality is very real to them. With the Seven of Wands clarified by the Two of Wands, this person can appear very defensive because they don't know what to do. So on the surface, this person can really come across as quite guarded or stubborn or hard to approach at times, right? And they're doing this because they're protecting themselves, maybe even pushing you away unintentionally at times. They are feeling very overwhelmed. They don't know which direction to take. They keep planning, imagining, and replaying what could happen. So they're really scared to make a move or move forward with whatever this connection is. This is someone who feels very cornered by their own thoughts and fears, is like what we said at the beginning, okay? So they're not really seeing clearly. They're running on old trauma or old, most of us have trauma of some sort. They want to keep moving forward, but every option feels risky. Every line of communication with you, or it's almost like this person kind of feels like they're walking on eggshells, and it might not even have anything to do with you or like your current behavior or what you're currently doing. Maybe it's from stuff in the past with you, and also stuff from their own childhood and stuff like that, okay? You'll know how this resonates with you and how it applies. With the Knight of Cups and the Three of Cups, they really want to come towards you. They don't want to lose this connection or whatever it is. So beneath all the fear and all the defensiveness in here, this person still carries, feelings for you, strong, romantic, sincere feelings. And the Knight of Cups really shows their desire to approach you with emotional authenticity and just real openness. They, and then when it's clarified by the Three of Cups, they want harmony with you. They want to reconnect. They want to feel joy with you again. So whether this reconciliation or, whether it's a reconciliation, maybe you're not together anymore, or maybe you've come back together, or maybe there was just really big arguments had and so things are settling again. And whether this is a romantic thing or a friendship, whatever it is, their higher self longs for the warmth and the closeness that you used to share, or the closeness that you could share. Fear hasn't erased their feelings. It's just made it very hard for them to act on them. Your advice from your higher self. We have discontentment, we have the Five of Pentacles, and compassion. So you might be feeling really kind of stuck or dissatisfied, or even just drained by kind of waiting or guessing or trying to fix what you can't control. So this is really asking you to acknowledge your emotional fatigue and not to kind of suppress it. Because these feelings are valid. With the Five of Pentacles, you might feel really kind of shut out from this person, or as if you're kind of walking behind them. There's a lot of shared energy here. The energy really validates your pain with this, and it's okay to admit that you feel left out in the cold. It's okay to admit that you feel like you're kind of taking the back seat, or that you're feeling unloved, or like this person isn't being responsive to you, or it's hard kind of carrying what's going on for this person, okay? But this is also, there's also a reminder here that this is a temporary state. It's not your identity, okay? It's just what's happening. It's the circumstances. And with compassion, this is really, what I'm getting really here is you need to really soften into compassion for yourself more than anything, first and foremost. And then if it feels right for this person as well. And it's not about whether someone deserves it, because I think everyone deserves compassion from others, right? There's a difference between compassion and having healthy boundaries. And you can have both, right? You can be compassionate and you can be empathetic towards someone that's done something really heinous towards you or someone else, right? That doesn't mean that you condone what's happened and that makes it all right. But it's you realizing that we're all part of the greater, consciousness. So, and that we're all really one, right? So it's good for you, first and foremost, as I said to you, but it's also good for the collective and for the other person. It also means releasing the story that you are unworthy, unloved, and forgotten as well. So I hope you enjoyed this reading. Pile 2. I got ahead of myself there. Pile 2. I hope it's given you the clarity, insight, and maybe closure, perhaps, that you needed from this person. Please feel very free to leave feedback and comments below. And I wish you all the best with this, and I'll see you in my next reading. Bye. Hello, pile 3, my very last pile. Last but not least, as I always say. Let's get into this reading. Let's find out what this person is having issues with saying. Let's find out what this person really would like to say to you, but they're too afraid to. You chose embrace. And this card is really meant to represent a message from your person's higher self. I mean, they're all messages from their higher self, but this one is kind of like the theme to it, or a particularly strong message, okay? So the frog really symbolizes emotional renewal, vulnerability, cleansing and transformation as well. So this person is going through a big change, and we'll go more into this as it comes. The person on your mind wants to let themselves really feel again, but they're so afraid of what those feelings kind of reveal. They want closeness, they want to embrace you, but they fear the pain attached to that intimacy, which is kind of bittersweet, right? And the rest is what their higher self wants to kind of say to you. So the 6 of Cups and the 10 of Swords. This is kind of like, I miss you more than I could admit. And this is also them replaying good moments that they've had in the past with you. This person, and this is kind of more from, you know, me saying that is kind of, I'm not, when I say it's surface level, I don't mean that in a rude way, but the deeper meaning for this person as well as what they can't say to you is that they do miss you. And there's a lot of fear here because this person, I believe as well, whether they're aware of it or not, is really dealing with, under the surface, old childhood wounds that have been detrimental to them and that have shown up in this connection, like everyone else shows up in connections, right? We all carry our own baggage into connections until we become aware of it and conscious enough to make more mindful choices, right? This person was really, really hurt in the past. There's probably trauma there, as I always say. But in their connection with you, they miss what you had. Or if you're still together, I think this feels like it's a connection that's been pretty well established, but you'll need to take it as it resonates, as I said. This person is really missing what you had, and they replay those moments. They've kind of, I feel this person has really hit rock bottom, and it's all these feelings are kind of bubbling up, but they're fearful of telling you because of what we said before. They're fearful of the vulnerability. They're fearful of what that means, what it looks like, right? They want this. They want this to be beautiful and wonderful. But there's just so much fear here. You know, they miss what you had, but they're too scared to reach out because they don't know how to come back from the pain in a way. And as I said before with the other readings, this is their biggest fears that they can't share with you. So you might be in a connection or a relationship with this person, or you were, whatever it is, and they might be walking around pretending everything's okay, or they have a facade on, or they really are trying to move forward. But you've got to remember, this is the stuff they can't tell you, okay, that's under the surface. they're overwhelmed by the contrast between what they felt with you and how things ended or faded, whatever happened, or whatever's been experienced in this connection. The Five of Pentacles and everything is fine. For those of you who are not familiar with this deck of cards, this is the Modern Witches Tarot deck. And the person that created this deck created two Ten of Swords. And I've kept them in there because I think for me that means something. And I think this is a very clear depiction of that in this reading, okay? So this person's been through a huge amount of pain, and they're really pretending to be okay, but they're not, because they're not just dealing with things that have happened between you. Like every other relationship, they're dealing with things that have happened to them from the very beginning, okay, even before you came along. And this combination is really powerful and it's really revealing. So the Five of Pentacles really shows abandonment, distance, emotional coldness. They feel outside of your life, like they don't have access to your warmth or your support anymore. Now, some of you might be sitting there thinking, yes, they do. I support them. Maybe that's the situation. But you've got to remember what I said before. This is their fears. They're in a very vulnerable place. They're growing, but there's still an element of fear here because there's inner child work going on, okay? The clarify being everything is fine is essentially the Ten of Swords wearing a mask, right? So their higher self is saying that I feel the loss deeply. I feel disconnected from you. I feel alone. I pretend I'm fine and I smile, but I'm also distracting myself. I act strong, but you have no idea how much this is affecting me. As I said before, they fear showing vulnerability. They fear you wouldn't want to hear the truth of what this is. They might fear being rejected all over again, or as seen as a burden, or, someone that's holding you back, or whatever. Whether the fears are legitimate or not, the feelings are valid, With the Empress and the Three of Swords, you mean a lot to this person, and it scares them. This is such a powerful card, the Empress. This is a major arcana. So they really see you as really nurturing, abundant, someone who kind of grows things, someone who heals. Man or woman, it doesn't matter. But when it's been clarified with the Three of Swords, the meaning becomes really, really painfully clear here. And that is that, you matter so much to me that it scares me. This person is still grieving from heartbreak, and, loving you, or the idea of losing you hurts. So they're in this real paradox or juxtaposition, right? This is the fear beneath everything. The depth of their feelings is what causes the depth of their pain as well. So they're afraid to admit how much power you kind of have over their heart. Your words of advice as the viewer, which is you. We have a few. We have love, the Seven of Swords, the Fool, and paradox, which is interesting. So, So with love, you're really being invited here to return to the frequency of love. And I mean, not romantic, idealistic kind of love, but the vibration of self-love, compassion, and emotional truth. Because your heart as the viewer might be more guarded than you actually realize, which then doesn't kind of help this person flow. And of course, it's not your job to heal them at all. But if you can shift your energy, this will help shift their energy, because I can imagine there's a lot of mirroring going on in this relationship, like there are in all relationships, okay? With the Seven of Swords, I sense some of you, which this doesn't help as well, but it's understandable. You might be really pulling away and hiding your own feelings as well, or kind of convincing yourself you don't care as much as you do. But this is like a real self-protective instinct here for you, mirroring the person on your mind, which is really interesting in what I said before. So this card really asks you to look at where you might be avoiding emotional honesty or avoiding confronting your true desires. The Fool, another major arcana. A new beginning here is possible, people, but only if you're willing to step into openness. So this card really encourages taking a chance, releasing fear, letting go of past hurt, and starting fresh with new energy, okay, if that's what you wish to do. This doesn't mean leaping towards a person again. It just requires leaping toward your own heart again so that you can be open to this again, or you can be open just to life again, you know. With Paradox, your situation contains like two truths at once here. So you're still healing from pain, but you're still open to pain. You want clarity, yet you fear what the truth might reveal. You feel the connection deeply, yet you don't want to be bound by it. So your message is you don't have to choose between heart and self-protection. Both can coexist. Both can guide you. So you really need to release the idea that love must be all or nothing. You can embrace your own healing while acknowledging the emotional threads still kind of connecting you. Okay, so that's lots of mirroring going on here. Pile 3, I really hope you enjoyed this reading as much as I did doing it for you. I hope it's given you all the clarity and insight and confirmation and maybe closure that you have needed, and some nice, you know, deeper understanding to help you move forward. Thank you so much. Lots of love and light. I'll see you at my next reading. Bye.